Your power as a star seed. Take responsibility, Part 2. Many greetings, and I welcome you, as always or for the first time. Thank you for stopping to listen to me. Za'el here. Although this time I will emphasize the people there incarnate or immersed on earth who have forgotten who they really are, I fear that those watching from the outside will not be spared on this occasion either, for it applies to all of them and to all of us. But on no account and under no circumstances should those who live on earth feel inferior. They are those who, in more normal and natural circumstances, would have absolute power and control over what happens on it, or rather, over what is the earth itself, or what defines it. And I say in more normal or natural circumstances because, from my eyes, that is not how things look. However, let no one dare underestimate a single person walking on that planet. For despite living in a forced and artificial situation, deprived of information and many, many powerful tools to combat it, the fact remains that they continue to possess the greatest power of all. This, because it can never be taken away from them, because it is not a power in itself, it is who they are. It is what they are, and how they function. Their very existence is itself a manifestation of that same power, or that power itself. Whether that automatically makes it a righteous struggle or not is largely debatable on many, many different levels, and is one of the debates that lead many to simply watch, allow, or continue the atrocities that go on there. But know something important. Every seed counts, much more than you can probably imagine, and especially the conscious ones. Don't think that by neglecting you, by giving up on yourself or by giving into your negative thoughts, nothing will happen. In the same way that I consider incorrect the position of omission of action, thinking that, if nobody does it, nothing will happen if I don't do anything either, or it's none of my business. It is always your business, whether you are yourself or whether it is someone external who needs to be helped, because at the end of the day, it will always be you who is suffering the consequences. You are an important cell or set of cells of a larger body, which will be part of a much larger one, physically and spiritually speaking. At the same time, you control all that exists as the most expanded version of that whole, individually. Within the earth itself, about 0.5% of people are to some extent conscious, or awake at a more or less basic level. However, I am convinced that, in the stage that began at the end of 2019, you will have been able to see many more people awakening to many realities and becoming part of that whole. You will have seen some struggling to awaken many more people, and better still, succeeding to some extent. That is why the cabal needs to be more aggressive in its agendas. That's why life has become a little tougher. That is why they censor more than they used to. One considerably conscious and powerful star seed can affect the collective unconscious of a place as many hundreds of thousands of people, of the masses, if you will. I want you to imagine then your own responsibility. It is not necessary for everyone to wake up to many realities, it is only necessary for you, who are listening to these words right now, to really get down to work. You don't even need to expose everything and convince everyone that you are not crazy. Just by being there, you are already affecting the Earth's magnetic field and the collective unconscious of the Earth. Hence, its overall frequency. Use your ability to discern, to think, to choose how to be and how to act, how to improve and how to move forward and how to solve certain things, inside and outside, to transform your world. Because in reality, there is no such thing as inside and outside. What you change in yourself will also cause a transformation around you. Ergo, in your life. Hence, in the lives of those around you. Imagine how far this butterfly effect can go. In case you didn't know, The concept of the butterfly effect has its origin in the idea that a tiny event, such as the flapping of a butterfly, at a given moment, can alter in the long term a sequence of events of immense magnitude. And a butterfly doesn't possess the same capacity for creation or conscious manifestation as you do, does it? With all due respect to the poor butterflies. I write this with a laugh, even though I cannot capture it in this voice, even though it is of service to me, and I am grateful for it. This is the reason, as I say, for so much aggressiveness in the mind control of people living on or around the earth. Yes, I have said what I have just said. The example was used some time ago that the earth tends to rise to the frequency that would be its natural state, just as a cork would rise to the surface of the water, and that it was therefore inevitable that it would happen at some point. But without detracting from or invalidating that point of view at all, I find it dangerous to think this way, because the cork will never rise unless the hand that forces it to keep sinking disappears. It is, once again, a mentality that encourages inaction. To wait and trust. Nature is wise, but the artificial, especially driven by a sickly sinister intelligence, can end up subjugating that nature. That is why those who are in possession of the capacity and quality to change things, who are in possession of an intelligence that can cope with that, are also in possession of the moral, ethical and also their own responsibility to use their capacities for the benefit of the protection of the natural, the healthy, the ethical and the innocent. Self-responsibility, because we are all part of the same thing, being all at the same time. Therefore, that Machiavellian part of us that uses intelligence against what is natural, filling it with artificial energy, lies and manipulations, a word I detest, is actually doing nothing but harming itself, in the same way that cells would do in an autoimmune disease. In other words, yes, I consider the context of the earth as a disease to be treated. A self-produced disease that only we, all of us, individually, have the power to cure. We may each have more or less tools to do so, physically and circumstantially speaking. However, there is one thing you must never forget, and that is the power that no one can ever take away from you. But there is a way to stop you from using it to your advantage. By making you forget that you have it. By making you forget who and what you are. By convincing you that it is useless to try. It is true that, because of that collective unconscious, that soup you are immersed in, sometimes it costs much more than it should cost. And that is when the doubts and impatience set in. When you think you've already tried and it wasn't enough. Given this, and intuiting what happens in general, although each case is always different and personal, I can offer you what I think could help you. It is a key that many of us forget at some point along the way or in the struggle for something we really want with all our strength. Be happy. Take care of yourself, your frequency, your own evolution. Nourish yourself with what you really feel like nourishing yourself with, within the possibilities that this planet offers you right now in your current circumstances. That is the best thing you can do, because your good energy will make a real impact. Do not allow intrusive thoughts to affect and direct your frequency, and therefore make you who you do not want to be. Learn to integrate those things that are difficult to change or solve, or even sometimes not in your power to change, and continue to work on yourself and what makes you feel alive, calm, joyful. And only if you feel like it and it makes you happy, share what you learn yourself with those you care about and who can understand you. Because if it is not something that makes you happy, and far from that it frustrates you and lowers your frequency, you are actually doing yourself and others a disservice. Avoid falling into loops of negativity, self-educate yourself for it. It's natural for life there to make you feel frustrated, because it's not fair at all. Don't expect it to be right now. But don't let that frustration turn you into more of the same. You have the power to change things, and best of all, the path to it starts with the requirement to work on your own happiness. Isn't it amazing? I'm sending you lots of good energy. Use it to start on your way to your own happier version. Best regards, Za'el.